Hi, I'm Dr. Eric Janowitz, the founder and clinic director here at Synergy Oviedo Chiropractic in Central Florida. We get a lot of questions about what is the difference between a herniated disc and a bulging disc. Many of you might have been experiencing some sort of pain, either sciatica or debilitating back pain or neck pain or headaches, numbness and tingling down the arms, and you get an MRI, and then like most of us, we search on Google and we see terms on our MRI report like herniation or bulging or IVF encroachment and go, what is all of this? And it gets very scary. So let me kind of break it down a little bit for you and explain to you the difference between a herniated and a bulging disc. So the first thing you want to know is what is normal. So normal is you have a bone, and you have a disc. Now I'm going to look at from the top down here. So this is a cross section. So this is like this. This is looking from the head down. You have the disc made up of two different components. You have a hard cartilage rings here called the annulus, and then you have the nucleus, which is a jelly center. This is the spinal cord coming from the brain down and all the way down to the lower part of your spinal column. And then these are the exiting nerve roots, and those nerve roots are oftentimes what gets pinched or irritated, but the spinal cord can also get pinched and irritated. So through different traumas like a car accident, a sports injury, lifting injury, or repetitive injuries like sitting chronically at a desk or carrying a baby on one hip, or repetitive type stresses over time as well, that can cause an abnormal stress on the disc, because if the disc gets misaligned, then it's going to cause an abnormal stress on the disc, which can then cause weakening to the tissue. Now, a herniation is when the disc material in the inside, that nucleus, breaks through the annulus and comes through this area here. So this is a very focused area. This is a focused herniation. This is also an example of a focused herniation coming from the side. Now this, unfortunately, is one of the most common types of herniations, is when it goes out to the side. It's also called lateral. Okay, you might see it say the right side or right foraminal encroachment, these sort of terms. And the foramen is the hole, but it pushes in that hole. Now the problem is the nerve tissue comes out of that hole and it goes to different parts, either your back or your legs or your arms. And so that nerve gets irritated. So it's a focused problem, it's a herniation. If it is more wide, then it is a bulge. Now, a lot of times doctors put more emphasis on if it's a herniation or if it's a bulge. In my impression, in doing this for a number of years, is if it's causing pressure to the nervous system, I don't care if it is a herniation or a bulge, they both need to be handled. Now, one of the ways that we handle this is through a technology called spinal decompression therapy. Now, this is not a surgery, this is a therapeutic advanced service that we offer here at Synergy, which is to avoid things like epidural steroid injections or surgery. And decompression does three things. It's number one, a traction-based procedure that gently pulls, and as it pulls, it opens up and makes the hole bigger to free the trapped nerve. The second thing that you want to realize is that this disc is under pressure. So when you have this pressure, what it does is as it pulls, it causes a negative pressure in the disc to help it bring it back in. This is why when you have a herniation or a bulge, oftentimes you might notice that it's painful to cough or sneeze. Some of you are like, oh, I know that's the case. I almost have to bear down or hold something. Or if you're changing position, all those sort of things, or flexing forward and you're causing pain. All those things where you increase pressure in the disc, it pushes out. Well, we can use that same technology, but in reverse to help bring it back in through the negative pressure that this decompression creates. The third thing is a disc has a poor blood supply. And so in order to capture a good blood supply and get rehydration into the disc, because you might see things on an MRI called disc desiccation, which is another term for disc dehydration, which means that the disc is losing its normal healthy fluid, which will then compress even further, causing more pressure on the nerve. Well, the decompression does a pumping motion, And that pumping motion helps to bring nutrients in and out of the disc. Think about a sponge that's been outside in the sun for a long time. You stick it under the water faucet and you squeeze and you squeeze and you squeeze and you squeeze, and then that sponge gets back to life, right? And it's pliable again. Well, that can occur with the disc by doing the pumping motion as well. So those three things are the major things to do, is to make the hole bigger, to cause a negative pressure, and then to do the pumping motion. Now, if you just did decompression alone, you're going to be very limited in your success. So we also combine things like chiropractic adjustments to work on the alignment, make sure there's good alignment here. We also make sure that we're doing physical therapy to work on the soft tissue to strengthen the muscles that support the spine as well. So I hope you got a lot of answers as to what a disc herniation is and what a disc bulge is. Herniation more focused, bulge is more global in the area. Again, either one causing pressure to you needs to be addressed, and there is a non-surgical conservative approach to using that. So I hope you find a chiropractor in your area that does all three things to be able to help you. And if you're in Central Florida, we would obviously love to help you here. Thank you.